It has been a minute since I have been on here live, but I am charging my car and figured I would hop on, see if anybody was on live, and just give you guys like an update on what's working well with my private clients right now, and maybe do some Q&A. Hello. If you guys are there, pop in the comments, say hi. I legit used to go live like multiple times a week for the first, I don't know, 3 or 4 years of my business, and I have not been on live in over a year. So hi everybody. Oh my gosh, this has been a minute. Hey Tatiana, hi Cole. Hey. Hi Sharon, it's so good to see you. Hi Tiffany. Oh gosh, it's been a minute. But while I'm charging my car, I was like, you know what? Let me hop on and see if anybody's there. I feel inspired and motivated to come on today. Hi, Jody. Oh my God, girl, I miss these. I mean, do I miss these? I do miss these. Like, I think that it's just been such a long time. But yeah, the sabbatical was good. Life, I mean, I feel like the most full that I've probably ever felt in my life. Like, if you can relate, like, I think many of us have, especially when you grow up in survival mode, like if you have a traumatic experiences in your upbringing, and then in your adolescence, like you were very much in survival mode, trying to prove yourself and like get out of like the negative and whatever that might be, with emotional burdens or financial responsibility or whatever it is. Like, this was the first time in my life I was able to just like take a break. And it was such a privilege and such a gift. And now that I'm back, one of my clients today, she's like, what did she say? She's like, you're it's not that you're back, it's that you're better. And I really, really received that. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, hold on, y'all. I think my car didn't stop charging. I hope I'm not at a broken charger. 1 second. I literally had to drive across town to find a charger, because the other one was, I mean, when I tell you a line was wrapped around that thing like in and out, it was insane. Oh man. Okay, I might have to be back because this charger does not work. Okay, let me know if y'all want to hold on while I switch chargers, or if you guys want me just to come back, because this charger is not working. So I gotta move the car. Well, I guess we're already doing this. Hold on. Okay. Second time should be a charge. Second time should be a charm. 1 second. Ooh, back in business, baby. Okay, now for real. Let's get into it. But one of the hey Kimmy. But yeah, one of the things that came up that I was like, I really want to talk about this on a live stream tonight is, like, I've been working with private one-on-one clients since I came back into business. And that's like where my focus is between now and the end of the year. And every one of my private one-on-one clients is somewhere making between like $100,000 in annual revenue, but they might have had really big success in another area of their career. Maybe they have a secondary business and they're trying to go the coaching side of things and like their online education side of things, all the way up to like clients that are making $1-2 million in annual revenue. And I think one of the core themes that I'm noticing with all of my clients is that when you are a personal brand, where you are selling your intellectual property, when you are the CEO, you carry a lot of responsibility, because you're not just the CEO, right? Responsible for decision making, responsible for strategic direction, responsible for making all the decisions, but you're also the CMO. You are responsible. You are 100% responsible for marketing, and majority of your marketing requires your face. It requires your creative energy output. It requires your perspective. And you're also like the COO, where you are responsible for, like, you're the head coach of the business. You're responsible for the delivery. You're responsible for client results. And the thing that I've been really communicating with a lot of my clients during private calls is that, like, The reason why it feels like a lot of responsibility is because it is. You are carrying 3 major leadership roles within your one title. You are the CMO, responsible for lead generation, sharing your perspective, creating content, creating marketing campaigns, generating leads for the offers that you sell. Then you're responsible for the delivery, especially if you have not yet started to delegate your client delivery. You're responsible for coaching. You're responsible for developing the curriculum of your programs. You're responsible for the client experience and all the touch points. You're responsible for onboarding, offboarding, and then you're still responsible as the big title of CEO of like decision making. Where are we going? Like basically what strategic approach are we going to be taking to do those 2 core functions? So if you're in a season right now where you just are like, fuck, this is a lot, and I feel like my capacity is thin. It's difficult for me to think long term. It's difficult for me to weigh the trade-offs and the consequences of my decision making. Like, I just want to bring that perspective to mind that like if the responsibility feels heavy, it is because it is. Like there's a lot of roles that you play as a small business owner. And as you continue to, like, one other thing that I've been pointing out with a lot of my clients that I want to share with you is that it does not matter what stage of business you are in. There are always going to be more problems that you can identify in the business than actually need to get solved. Like there's always going to be problems. Like I don't care if you're trying to make your first, $1,000, get your first client, if you're trying to have your first $10,000 a month, if you're trying to have your first, multi 6-figure year, if you're trying to make your first 7 figures annually, like it does not matter the size of your business. Problems will always exist. And the thing that I want to encourage you in is that your job is not to solve every problem. Your number one responsibility as the CEO is to properly be able to diagnose which problem you need to prioritize right now. Which problem is most beneficial for you to be directing your resources to? Which problem should you be putting your energy and focus on? And like that is the ongoing dilemma of being a CEO, is being able to manage the current demands that your business is putting on you while juggling your personal life and those personal demands, but you're juggling like the current demands that are applying pressure with being able to have some discernment on knowing which problems you actually need to solve versus which problems can be put in the parking lot and dealt with later. And that is the never ending dynamic of being a business owner, is juggling those 3 roles, starting to delegate aspects of those 3 roles, and being able to manage the decision making and being able to, enforce really like a criteria, a filter for you to have discernment to know which problems you need to focus on prioritizing. And I think that's been, again, a common theme for all of my clients. Like the solution looks different for every single one of them right now. But that's really the core mindset and the core philosophy that has been coming up a lot for people. And I'm like, let me know if you feel similar, like if that's something you're juggling, navigating. But like the biggest thing is that like there's always going to be problems to be solved. You don't need to have a perfectly problem-free business for your business to grow. And I think that's the other thing that's a major aha. Like I got to my first $150,000 in revenue without a website. Like a lot of the things people I've never strategically prioritized email marketing or list building ever in my business. Like, it doesn't mean that I don't have an email list, but I've never that's been like an open tab in my mind since I started my business. Like, Jay, why aren't you doing list building? I'm like, I don't know, but that's not the way that I grew. And even though like that problem, quote unquote, has been one I've identified, like, yeah, sure. Like that's something I could be doing. But it's like, do I need to be doing it right now? And is it something I should be doing? Like, I don't run paid advertising. Every time I talk to any of my clients or any of my peers that like run ad agencies, they're like, Drisha, you have no idea how much money you're sitting on. You're sitting on so much money. Like, you know how profitable your retargeting ads would be alone, let alone like, lookalike audiences and all of that. It's like, yeah, I know. But I think the thing is that it's very easy for us to like, for other people to like, you should be doing this, or like you're leaving money on the table, or you should be like deploying this tactic. I always have to sit back and look at, okay, Jerisha, what is your owner's intent for this season? What is the specific outcome that you're trying to get to? And are all these things that are either trending or things that you could do, is that the right lever that you need to pull to get the outcome that you want right now? And for the last 8 years of my business, like, those examples have never been in alignment with either my owner's intent and the type of business model that I wanted to produce at that moment, or it wasn't the lever that would fix the problem that was most pressing and like the biggest priority that would give me the biggest return on investment at that time. And I think that is like, again, like, that's the never ending dilemma of being a business owner, is being able to identify opportunity, like which opportunities are actual opportunities versus just like shiny objects that you could be chasing. You know, like, what's the best opportunity to get you the result that you want right now? And based off of your business model, based off of your owner's intent, based off of your capacity, based off of what you're willing to sacrifice, based off of your current skill set gap, like, you have to layer in all those filters to help you make the most informed decision. So I just want to share that with you because it's been coming up with so many of my clients on calls, and I'm like, from client to client to client, I'm like, okay, there's a theme here. Like, let's talk about it. 100%. I think, like, oftentimes, like, literally oftentimes, y'all, there's only like 2 or 3 things that you need to be doing as a business owner to make your business grow. Like, that's it. Pretty much everything else outside of that is a distraction that we need to have some discernment around, knowing when, like, whether or not we need to actually do it. Like, I think, like, part of being a business owner is just like removing the distractions. How do we maintain focus? How do we get back realigned? And like, that is the never ending struggle, because it's like 6 months ago, you might be like focused, dialed in, you got your stuff going on, and then you get sick for the first time, or you get, you know, you lose a family member, or, you know, like, you get a flat tire and it throws off your cash, like, you know, throws off your personal budgeting, or you had this really great hire, and then like 6 weeks into hiring, then they turn into a complete shit show. And it's like, everything was going so good until what? Life happened. And like, either people will happen or life will happen or whatever it might be. And it's just like, again, it's like, how do we juggle those demands and then remove the distractions and then get back focused again? It's like, you know, like, sometimes when I'm working with clients like super long term, half of my job is just refocusing them on the original assignment. That's half of my job, is reminding them to focus on their original assignment. And I want you to think about, like, this makes me or not. But like, this makes me think about like spiritual assignments. Like, I think that I truly do believe that in any given season, God is going to give you an assignment. And your job, in order like to play your part in blessings coming to pass, is being obedient to the original assignment that God gave you. And half of our job, like half the struggle of life, is just like reminding ourselves and remembering what the original assignment was, and being able to combat the enemy when he comes in to try to distract, destroy, and pull us off kilter. Like so much of our job, even in our personal lives and just in living in general, is to remember the original assignment that was given to us. And the same thing is true in business. Like, there's so many distractions and so many things that can pull us in a million directions. And a lot of the time, it's like, it's not that you don't know what to do. I think that is the thing that is most, that like creates so much inner conflict and inner resistance in us as business owners, is like, you know what you need to be doing. Like, I mean, you may not know exactly how to get to like the ultimate end goal of where you want to go, but like, I can guarantee that everybody listening to this right now, you listening to this right now, you know, like the this and that. You know that you need to do A and B in order to get to your next step. But the difficulty comes in like, what is preventing you from doing the thing you already know you need to do? And I mean, like, I think it's very common for like, you know, going back to what we talked about earlier, when you're managing or you're trying to manage the demands that your business is putting on you, and also the load of responsibility that you are carrying, being the CEO, the CMO, and the head delivery individual, is like, you know, I think that we can start, depending on how long you kind of stay in that stuck season, it can really start to erode at our sense of self-confidence. It can, and that erosion of our self-confidence will start to raise the voice of our inner doubts and the things that we are worried about. And then we start taking up energetic and mental cognitive load over problems that aren't even real. Like we start spending hours worried about like worst case scenarios that have very little likelihood of ever coming to pass. And because we spend so much energy and mental load, like stressed out or worried, or, our doubts becoming so loud, like that energy that's energy we could be using doing the things that we already know that we need to be doing. And that's like a lot of the dialogue that's been coming up for clients in just different scenarios and different situations. But for you, I think it's just like understanding, okay, I'm always going to be juggling three roles in my business. The decision maker as the CEO that decides like the how and the specific approach that we take. The CMO, the person that's responsible for like marketing and lead generation and value articulation and getting clients to getting prospects to raise their hand and show interest and like selling them, and the delivery, like me actually fulfilling the thing that I promised. And at any given time, you're probably going to be better at 2 of the 3 things at any given time. So if you start to like look at that in like a Venn diagram or as a triangle, like start to pay attention to, okay, in this season, which area am I weak in? Right? You're either going to be like, and this is what I see for most clients, that there might be really strong marketers and really incredible client deliverers, but they have a really difficult time with like strategic decision making on the specific approach they're going to take to do those 2 things, like the how of it. They're really good at doing the 2 things, but like operationally it is chaos on the back end. Like their organizational CEO decision making like hat is weak, or they might be really good at strategic decision making, really great at delivery, but they've totally neglected their marketing. Like most people are really good at 2 out of the 3. So become more self-aware of, okay, which area am I weak in right now? And also which area needs to be prioritized to move the business forward in this season. Because like it's okay for you to be weak in 1. If you're weak in 2, you probably have a severe business problem, right? But it's like, okay, what's the problem for me today? Do I have a lead issue, a sales issue, a delivery issue? It's going to be 1 of the 3 that's going to be most pressing. Like, okay. And it's like, if I can identify that and then identify where my skill gaps are, I can start to be more mindful of what support I actually need. And that can help you know what support to ask for, what support to hire for, what skills you need to develop and groom in. And it can also help you give yourself permission to be like, yeah, here are these other problems, but I'm going to put them in the parking lot. I don't need to worry about them right now. And it's not to say that, they don't exist, but it's like, we don't need to fix them right now. Like I was at an event with Monique. I saw Monique on here, like, I don't know, during my sabbatical. And it was a really incredible event for female, like, fund managers, like women that were like, had VC funds or like they raise capital and deploy capital, for small business owners, like angel investing type of thing. And one of the speakers said something really profound about like managing motherhood in addition to managing her business. And she's like, you just have to know which balls in the air are glass and which balls are rubber. And at any given season, the balls can change. So it's like there's certain seasons where like certain responsibilities that you hold, they're glass. If they drop, like that's detrimental. But there's certain things that you're juggling that are rubber. If they fall, they'll bounce back, and that's 100% okay. And I think it's just about like when she used that analogy, I thought that was really good, because it's like, okay, in this season, which balls are glass and which balls are rubber? Some balls are allowed to fall, but guess what? They're going to bounce back. Like nothing detrimental will happen, versus some balls are glass, and we need to be very mindful of like those dropping and hitting the floor. So yeah, y'all, that's what I had to share with you. That's what's been coming up on calls. But if you guys have questions, we can chit chat. Let me go see your guys' comments. Yes, my CMO skills are definitely the weakest link. I'm working on it. Like, I think that is true for a lot of people. Like, I was shocked that I'm like, regardless of revenue size, so many people have been neglecting their marketing, for the last like 6 to 12 months. And I think it's like a twofold thing. I think a lot of people are like energetically tapped, and like it's difficult for them to be creative when it comes to their like content and their marketing output. And also, like, there's been so many algorithm changes and changes in like this culture of social media that I think for some of us who've been using social media in our business for like more than 3 or 4 years, like if you've been on here longer than that, I think that it's like creating this dissonance within us of like, how am I supposed to show up on this thing? How, like, what content do I create when? Because like back in the day, like, follower count was a very important metric. Now the platform is prioritizing views more than followers. Like, they're pushing out your content to people who it's difficult now that even if you follow somebody that you're even going to see their content on your newsfeed. Like, so I think that is like a very common thing that I'm like, half the private clients that I'm working with right now, they're trying to combat that. Like, they've neglected and or like totally diminished their marketing efforts over the past 6 to 12 months. And they're like, I feel like I don't even know how to show up anymore. Like, I'm having a difficult time even creating content anymore. Let alone creating content in a creative and compelling way that actually pulls people in. So, I mean, that's like a very common thing right now, like across the board for a lot of people. Or a lot of my clients have delegated and removed themselves so much from their prospects that they're like, I don't even know how. And like, they had enough of a runway where there was enough warm leads in their pipeline to still generate cash flow. But now a couple months later, 3-6 months after really neglecting their marketing, they're starting to see that show up in their cash flow, because it's like, you know, I haven't been marketing for months and there wasn't a problem for a while, but they're starting to become a problem. Cole said that part, like, been struggling with creating content because I feel like a broken record, but understanding it's what's required. 100%. Like, man, you know, it's I think especially when you've been doing something for a long time, like 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, and you have been consistently showing up, consistently sharing your voice, you know, feeling like that broken record or you being bored with your messaging is like, that's a real thing. Like, that's a very real thing. I think the creativity comes in regardless of whatever market we are in. I think about like client sentiment. What end of the spectrum is my client sentiment, and what is their perception of perceived risk when it comes to making investments for themselves? And I think that when you think about it from that lens, hey Jamar, is like, how is my client, or how are my prospects? Oh my gosh, do you guys see all these fireworks? One thing about these freaking iPhones is these reactions catch me so off guard, and I don't even know what I'm doing to create them. But when you are like feeling like super either burnt out or like broken record or bored with your content, I want you to think about your content from a different lens. Of like, what will help, like what level, how do I articulate this? Like, okay, I'm going to talk about this like macro economy for a minute and then bring this down to like scale for us as small business owners. But at any given like economic time period, typically economic sentiment swings like a pendulum. Okay, like during 2020, 2021, people were in a very much greed state where people felt as if like overall economic sentiment of the general consumer, like the general American, felt like there was a lot of opportunity. Why? Like, house prices were at the highest it had ever been. Inflation was ridiculously low. Like, interest rates were ridiculously low. Like, you were getting 2%, 3% on buying a home. People were, you know, buying houses for what? 20, 30, 40, like 20, 30% over asking price. Like, there was so much, there was an emotional feeling of there's so much opportunity right now available for me. There's, you know, like economic stimulus checks were being sent out, mortgage payments were paused, student loan payments were paused, like discretionary spending was high for a consumer. And when discretionary spending is high for a consumer and interest rates are low, there's typically an economic sentiment that like, there's opportunity available for me. I think that was also why there was a massive like influx in online small business owners getting started. And also why for many of us, we had our largest revenue ever during 2021, 2022, 2023. Like, you probably made the most money you've ever made during those years, or you started your business because you had a perception that there was opportunity, like there was money to be made and you wanted to get a part of it. That is very normal. So like when you're marketing, when you guys are thinking about your marketing lens and thinking about creating content, I want you to think about it from like, what is the economic sentiment of my prospect and of my client pool in my industry? Are people in a season right now where they are very optimistic? They're like their decision filter to make buying decisions is there's a lower threshold for me to establish trust with them. They are investing in things that are maybe nice to have, exciting, like they're more, opportunistic, versus what I think the market that we're in right now is very much on the scarce side. Like people are still spending money, but they are using much more discernment before they're making buying decisions. Why? The cost of an avocado is $3.99. Inflation is very high. Like there's an economic feeling, there's an economic sentiment that, dang, everything is expensive. I need to be mindful of how I'm spending my money. And I think that it's important for you to know, like, how do people feel versus the reality of where is the economy at? Because the feeling that of your prospects and what they are going through absolutely influences you specifically as a small business owner. So when I'm sharing, this is like a much more, I think, sophisticated approach to marketing and messaging, but we're having the conversation. Let's talk about it. So like when I think about this is like, okay, if people are in this state right now, let me know if this is like making sense. If so, just give me like a thumbs up or a girl yes in the comments, or throw some hearts up on the screen. But when I think about this is like, I know that when I go into the grocery store, I like look at prices now. I've never looked at prices before. I still end up buying the thing, but I think there's a part of me that's just like shocked at how expensive things are. I feel like everything is expensive. Like I went to go shred some paper, okay, over the weekend at where was I? At UPS. Why has the cost of shredding paper gone up? I'm like, bro, I had to buy the paper, okay, purchase the printer, pay for the ink, and then now y'all charge me $3 a pound to shred this bad boy? That's crazy. I digress. But I want you to start to think about, this is where you can get more creative in your marketing content, is what level of perceived risk is my buyer feeling when it comes to making the investment around the thing that I'm selling. And that's another way for you to tap into your creativity when it comes to your marketing and messaging, is how do I reduce perceived risk to my prospect? And in order for you to like even answer that question for yourself, and this is also a lot of the work I'm doing with my clients right now, is that like it is necessary for you to have a deeper understanding of your buyer than you probably ever had in your business before. Like you need to know them inside and out. And like for some of you guys, I see some of my private clients on this live stream right now, and I know some of them are like, Jerisha, we spent 2 calls digging into my ideal client and like what qualifies them and what they perceive as risk when it comes to making, like investing in the approach that they are hiring me to teach them. And the reason why is because right now in the marketplace, people there's a higher threshold for what people are, how prospects are making decisions and what risk they are perceiving when it comes to making buying decisions. But I also am noticing in the market right now that getting that first purchase is harder to get than I feel like it has been in a long time for a lot of us. But once you get that first purchase, it's like, and have really created a sense of safety and security for that prospect, they don't leave. Like they will reinvest and re-enroll again and again and again. But getting them in the door feels harder. But once they're in, they typically will last longer. So that's another way that you can be creative with your marketing, is instead of like I keep preaching the same thing, I start to take on new lenses and new perspectives of how you approach your messaging. And it's like, how can I be more creative with my content in the sense of reducing perceived risk? How can I be more creative in my storytelling with, really painting a tangible picture for this intangible thing that I sell, and really like speaking to the specifics of like a specific moment in time for a specific client that's going through the specific pain point that wants a specific result. Like, how can we do more storytelling to really paint that picture and create tangibility? I was working with a client of mine today. She's a coach for interior designers. And like she said this today of like, she helps her clients. Part of the work that she does with her clients is attracting ideal clients. And she said something so vivid today of like, stop attracting clients that wait for the Crate and Barrel sale to purchase their furniture. Like that was so descriptive. And I think that is where we have the opportunity to like flex our creativity and to get out of like being the broken record or like the boredom in our marketing and our messaging is like, how can you get more compelling in your storytelling? How can you speak to more of the specifics for your ideal client at this particular moment in time for where they are specifically at? How can we get more sophisticated in our content by understanding ways in which we can articulate ourselves to reduce perceived risk and to create a greater sense of safety and security for the prospect when they're making the buying decision? And I think that when you look at it from that lens, it's like, oh, I bet even though you're still going to be approaching your marketing to like get them to the same outcome, you know, you're going to be doing it a different way. Come on, Cole, with the notes, baby. Cole, one thing y'all listen, if y'all don't follow Cole, y'all should. Even if you are not his, like the ideal client of his, the way that Cole takes some information and then quickly applies it, baby, like no other. Cole, you are a fast action taker, and I love it. Okay, so I'm glad that you have pages of notes. I'm here for it. Okay. This question is a good one. Is can you give an example of what it looks like to get into your Olympian's head and appease their risk for purchase? So part of this work of being able to get into your client's head and get into your Olympian's head is really, really identifying who an Olympian is for your actual offer. And I mean, I don't care what stage of business you're in. Like, I'm 8 years in business, and like a lot of the work that I've been doing over the past 2 months is clarifying who my Olympian is. and like, why is that? You know, it's like, well, because like times have changed, markets have changed. Like, you know, even though like I'm like rethinking my offers, I feel like there's like this, like, I think that many of us approach, oh, like, who is my ideal client? It's like we do it once, we never have to revisit it. I think that we can all really benefit from like every 6 to 12 months, I need to be rechecking in with who my client is. And it might not be that your client has like dramatically changed, but I want you to start thinking about like every 6 to 12 months, how can I learn a new aspect of context around who my Olympian is? And, you know, I think that context is what is so important. You know, that context is something that you will always be learning, always be like digging into, always be discovering. And I want you to look at like your ideal client or your Olympian. I look at the reason, for those of you guys who haven't purchased any of my programs, I define an Olympian as like the most qualified lead for the offer that you are selling, not just the ideal client. And I think that is even something that many of us get tripped up, is that we will create an offer and it's like, oh, this could work for A, B, C, X, Y, Z, all of these people. I'm not asking you who your process could work for. I'm asking you who is most qualified and who meets the criteria that has the highest probability of getting the promise that you are guaranteeing, the promise that you are selling. So I think that is step one for you to really like dig into that, is like really start to understand the attributes and the nuances and the context of who your Olympian is. So like for example, like even with me right now, like I've taken 8 months off from business. I have not I haven't actively been an active participant in my business for like nearly a year, right? So when I think about digging into like the head of my Olympian, part of the ways that I think that you need to do that is by how can you be having more conversations with either paid clients or with direct prospects. And like, that's another reason why I started back, and let me know if I'm answering your question or if I'm like totally off kilter for what you were trying to ask. But I think that many of us, especially as they start to delegate ourselves from client delivery, or we get further removed from prospects, we stop having conversations with our clients. And I think that is something that we need to be creating a process for, to incorporate into our day-to-day, to hear the specific language that those individuals are using to articulate their problems and their sentiment around their problems. Okay. So that is like one thing. Let me go back to your questions. I feel like I'm off kilter. Give me an example of what it looks like to get into your Olympian's head. So like, I think it's really about understanding how is this client categorizing the problem as it relates to what solution I provide. And again, I think the best way to do this is by having conversations with your prospects, by having direct conversations with your clients. I think even Jamar has been doing this really, really well over the past like couple of months on Threads. Like, Jamar, if it's okay for me to give you a shout out, I want to give you a shout out. So I think you'd be a great example for me to like pinpoint this. Like, Jamar is like an expert at YouTube, and he helps business owners, not influencers, not content creators, but like service-based business owners or small business owners leverage YouTube to generate leads for their business. And one thing that I think Jamar's done a really good job of like getting into the head of the prospect is like you've done this even on Threads, but I know that you've done this by like tapping into your community. So like one thing I've seen Jamar do is like he'll do these one-off workshops. And I know that those paid workshops are not part of your core business model. But the smart thing about that is that as Jamar is like running these one-off workshops, he's also being able to real-time validate the positioning of this workshop and the problem that this workshop is solving, how many people are willing to pay for it. And I saw Jamar do like a summer series of 3 different workshop topics, and people could buy just one of those workshops or they could buy the full series. And Jamar, feel free if you want to come on, because I'm just making these assumptions based off of like the few conversations we have and what I notice you doing. But if you want to hop on and like distill this down, please feel free. I'd be happy to bring you on live with me. But like, I think that's one way to get into the prospect's head is like, what are micro offers that are not part of my larger scale business model, but that allow me to actually validate my angle of positioning and the specific pain point that I think my prospects have. But like, I want to validate that based off of like what they're willing to pay for. I think that that's one way to do it. Another way I've seen Jamar do it is like he will tap into his his low lift membership, his current paid clients in his membership, and like ask them more specifically. Like, I remember he's even asked me, because I was a part of his membership for a little bit. I joined one of his workshops of like, Jerisha, what is preventing you from revitalizing your YouTube channel? Why have you not done that? Why have you not prioritized it in your own business right now? I saw that you started it and then you stopped again. Like, he's asking more of the questions around either I might not be an ideal client, but he's asking the right questions of understanding why I'm choosing or not choosing to move down the direction as it relates to the approach that he's taking. So when I think about like, how do I dig into my prospects' minds? I think that one, you can start by asking more like deeper level questions, one more layer question of like, what are you doing? What else have you tried that hasn't worked? Why are you choosing not to prioritize this approach? Like, have more of those conversations with your current paid clients. And or you can do these like one-off paid opportunities to like see what people are willing to pay for, what people are not willing to pay for. I think you need to be at a decent season of business to be able to do that effectively. And I've seen Jamar just ask really great like client research questions on Threads and get real-time feedback. So I think those are different ways to do it. Let me know if that answered your question, but I'm going to bring Jamar at this over the past few months. And I feel like he's like totally redone his business model and to speak to more specific pain points and create better solutions and better offers. Hi!
Hi!
First of all, before we get even into this, your dance moves and your cat are like,
Lord, look at my cat up there. She's like, boy, it's time for bed.
But it really is. I'm surprised as many of y'all are on, because I'm like, East Coast, it's late.
I know. I normally am, but I don't know what it is. But then I got that little scroll, and then I just saw you go live, and I was like, oh well, I can stay up for a little.
Well, thank you for having on. Cause I like what I've seen you do over the past few months of totally, I feel like restructuring, but I feel like more like you like restructured your offers in a way that make it so compelling and so clear. Like, I feel like if I need to refer somebody to you, it's so easy for me to do that and to know where to send them. And like, I mean, I don't know, like kind of answering the question that came up, like what have you done over the past few months that have like helped you better get into that mindset and get into the head of your ideal client and like allow that to inform how you repackage or represent your offers? Because I've been watching you do the work, and I'm like, people need to be out here taking notes, because Jamar, and you're doing such a beautiful job of like bringing your community along the journey with you. It's just been beautiful to witness.
Oh, thank you. I feel like it's it's really validating to have someone else from the outside really like say, I see what you're doing. But because, you know, sometimes we just be working
Yeah.
and, you know, we have the plan in our head, but like, you know, but one of the things that I had to do really was I had to shut down the ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to really say, because you know how you know, I was working on refining these offers, right? I had this membership that I had launched in November, and I also had some one-to-one offers, but I needed to be, but where it got kind of mucky or muddy was I was like, well, who are these things for? Right? It can't just
Mm-hmm.
be for anyone that wants to do YouTube. Any business owner that wants to do YouTube, because then you kind of fall into that trap of like someone may be joining the membership, but they really wanted something else, and then you're not really fulfilling that promise that you like really, you know, you're not serving
Yeah.
them to the best of your ability. And so what I ended up doing was I started doing a lot of like one-off sessions, workshops. I got back you know, grassroots, you know, boots on the ground. I said, you know what? Forget about these offers for now. What do you need from me? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get on a call. You know, let's do this one-off
Can we
strategy
pause?
session.
I need people to hear that. Can we get on a call? I think so many of us have been above getting on a call with people these past
Yes.
few years. And I think like even for me, I feel like I resonated with that with so much because when I came back after taking my break, I was like, Drisha, you need to get back to doing what Hawk Hustle circa 2017 was doing.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I'm gonna sell out 15 private one-on-one sessions, and like, I'm gonna just focus on like, this is the cheapest you'll ever get me, but I'm gonna focus on like just like you just said, what do you need from me right now? And it's
Yes.
been so informing to not just see like what people need, but like also see like how people feel about what they need, and like I feel like get a deeper sense of what people are really struggling with.
Yes, because you understand, like, I think people, this is the thing, because you know this and I know this, and we see it in different ways with our business, but people like to think they know what their who
Oh
their
yeah.
ideal clients are or what they're thinking, but they don't know. They have this fantasy of them.
Yes.
They have this perspective of like who they want it to
Yeah,
be.
that's
Right.
it. I know who I want it to be, but maybe who is it really?
But let's be real. Who are these people? Who are these thousands of people liking your posts and stuff? What are they willing to do to give you $1? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
What are they trying to do? Like, what are they looking for? And so for me, the easiest way to do that was to open up strategy sessions, intensives. Like I just did these like really one-off sessions because at that time, I really considered that almost like a paid discovery call. You know what
100%.
I'm saying?
100%.
I'm like, this is great. This is paid market research. You're telling me your problems. You're telling me like all your issues, right? Because you know, once they get somebody on the
It's a
call,
wrap.
they're like, fix me. You know, they're like,
They're like, woo, I'm glad we're here. Let me tell you all what's going that but that's so true though. And I
mm-hmm,
mean like I think a lot of my audiences got as like their behavior on social media has changed. I think a lot of our behaviors have
mm-hmm,
changed. I feel like it was easier maybe a couple of years ago for me to like people were it was easier for me to tap into people's pain points through the content that they were sharing
mm-hmm.
versus now. Like I feel like people are like like those conversations are not happening unless it's
Yeah.
like privately in a DM or if it's
Mm-hmm.
on a paid call. Like I'm not really seeing the realness of that anymore
Yeah.
publicly as much.
People are not, and so people are not articulating it as much as they used to, because right now, there's one of this, so like one of my like videos, like you know this, like one of my videos is like that combating objection type of thing, to where it's like what are people doing instead, that's like the band-aid, that's
Yeah.
not the answer. And so that's what people are doing. They're not telling you
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
unless they are telling you that after they have gone through all of that stuff and have finally paid you. And so
Yeah.
the benefit of hopping on these one-to-one calls and stuff is that they say, oh my God, I feel so much better. You won't believe what I did before coming here. And I'm like, great content.
Yeah,
I was like, great. Right.
it
I'm like,
is
oh,
though.
so it's just a really great way to like really get into the mind of the person that you want to have inside your world.
Yeah, I mean, like again, I can't like echo what you're saying enough because I also look at like out of all the people who've booked intensives with me since I've been back, and let me know if this is like true for you or not. Like I'd say maybe 20% of them are clients that I've had from the past, but everybody else is like people who've been in my audience for
Yeah.
years, and
Yeah.
like they're needed there was a there again perceived risk. There was a layer of trust that was missing from like a humanity and like a personal perspective. They're like, oh, I can get you one-on-one on a call, bet I'm willing to pay. I feel like they needed a taste.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's a taste that they've always gotten from my content, I feel like there's been a how am I trying to articulate this? Like I've been able to establish a level of
Mm-hmm.
respect and like credibility through my marketing. But there was still this transference of trust that needed to take place for them to feel comfortable making like longer term investments with me. And I feel
Yeah.
like doing like I used to do this back in the day with doing like these paid micro workshops, but
Mm-hmm.
coming back and doing this intensive, I feel like has created that bridge for
Mm-hmm.
like that last piece is like I know you have the credibility, I know that you have the authority. Like I think the same, I think about even you. Like I feel like I know like Jamar is the you if you need if I talk YouTube and I talk Legion, I'm thinking Jamar. Like
Yeah.
that's the equation. But when I also think about like long-term retainer relationships, I love that you offered like a workshop or an intensive or even the membership as like a way to build trust before the longer term commitment. Like are
Yeah.
you I guess like it's something I'm noticing for myself right now, but are you noticing something similar when it comes to really like like building those building blocks of trust with your prospects? Like are you noticing a lot of your long-term clients coming from micro offers or
Yeah.
just because you're or is it more of like because I did those micro offers, I'm better able to articulate myself so that my content is doing a better job of creating that bridge of trust to get them long term off the jump?
Oh my gosh, it's both, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because you know how I like to so I like to say, like, we can't always control the customer journey. You know what I'm saying?
So yes.
We, but can give them as much information that they need. And so, to answer your
I'm
question,
like, hold on, y'all write that down. You cannot control the customer journey. I feel like that's a nugget in and of itself because a lot of time it's like, well, they need to take my opt-in, then they need to buy my $97 course, and then they gotta pay for my $5,000 a month retainer. And it's like they may not move like
yes,
that.
you don't know. Like, think about this. Oh my God, you about to get me on a whole tangent. But like, literally, people want you. They really want these strangers on the internet to empty their bank accounts for like a opt-in. They think the opt-in is the gateway to all the money all the time, and it's
Yeah.
like we are strangers on the internet, bruh. Like some of us have some heavy trust
For
issues.
real,
Okay.
that's real. Like I have trauma.
Yes.
Okay, are you going to abandon me like my mama?
You know,
I need to know.
that opt-in is the bare minimum.
Right.
Okay. That is the very bare minimum. What else you got? You know what I'm saying? Okay, but let me answer your
But
other
that's
question.
real though. That's so real. Like your prospects got trust issues. So how are we establishing, consent based, ethical integrity, credibility? Like how are we creating that transference of trust? That's real though.
Yes, no. So I just really think like, and that's also that just goes to why like your messaging has to be consistent. You're like you have to still position yourself across like other platforms, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm on Threads. Someone asked for a YouTube strategist. Literally, it just blows up. I get tagged so much, right? And so but that took work, right? And so I didn't just focus on one thing. I didn't just focus on my opt-in doing its job. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? No, you have got to, your marketing does not work in a silo. All of it plays a really good role. And so that's like to answer like your previous question, these people that come in from these one-off sessions and stuff, they end up staying with me longer because of that, because of like, it's it's that one little like baby step into
Yeah.
you know, your ecosystem, your world, right? And so I think we're entering in a stage to where, just like how you said before I came up onto this live, people are really changing how they spend their money. They are spending their money, but they are not just investing as quickly as what they used to, or like, you know,
Yeah.
they're just like a little bit more discerning with their dollar, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so uh having these micro offers, having these like little tastes, these testers, right, of how it is to work with you, right? How how would they get their problems solved if they were to work with you in a longer kind of like container or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because one of the things that people forget is that everyone thinks their problems are unique. Okay. And so the best, the fastest way for you to, sorry, well, the quicker you can get over that objection of them thinking, oh, I have this unique thing, like could you really help me with that, right? The faster that you get that, you can say yes to that. I mean, you know, truthfully, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The faster you can get them to like convert, or you know, get them into your world, right? And so for me, the micro offers, like the Revive Your YouTube Channel uh workshop, was like the best thing to do that with, right?
Yeah.
Because literally everyone in there had a channel before, and they
Mm-hmm.
had a way of doing the channel. It didn't work, and now they're talking to me thinking that either they know everything, or they're pretty sure something went wrong, and they're trying to figure out, what the hell do I know that they don't know,
Yeah,
right?
one thing I want to point out that you did is like the data aspect, and that is what informed these new things that you added. And I want to be mindful of that because I think that like it's like, oh, we hearing Jay and Jam, oh, Jay and Jay, we hearing Jay and Jamar, okay?
Yes.
Talk about making these micro offers. Let me change my entire business model and go create micro offers. And I think that like I think there's I just want to be mindful of that. Is like really clarify again what is the pain point that's preventing people from getting to the promise that you're ultimately selling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you just said, so many of my clients had existing channels, they had abandoned their channels, and then they had this now newfound belief around like maybe YouTube can't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you use that data to strategically inform what like micro offer or what like, you know, new opt-in or like what you
Yep.
created. And for some of y'all that maybe don't need to go out and make a bunch of new offers, I think that another way that I've also seen you do this really well and is being a lot more descriptive with, okay, if my problem is unique, is there a specific story? Or you do this with case studies really, really well of like paint the picture of the uniqueness. Oh gosh, my Instagram settings are like, you've been on here for 30 minutes, so you need to get off. I'm like, no. um, but like I think that you can I think there's other ways that you guys can do it if offers aren't the main thing. And I know for me the way that and a third way you could do this outside of like using case studies and doing a better job of like storytelling for really pinpointing the specifics of that journey is do backdoor selling versus front facing like promotions. And what I mean by that is like when I started doing my intensives, I like it's not published anywhere publicly. I sold to my email list and I sold on my Instagram stories when it sold out in 24 hours. So
Mm.
I was able to like create a new offer without causing public confusion. And I feel like that's like a third way that you could kind of be introducing this so that you don't disrupt the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to pinpoint that. So I feel like you did I don't know, I feel like you've done this in multiple ways. I want to share how I did it too.
I love that. You probably need to tell the girls that they also need to email their list if they want to do that.
Yes. But I was also talking to some of my clients, like I've never sold in stories before. I'm like that. I mean, I've been really trying to dissect like Jay. I've never went ham on email marketing, but I do think what you're saying is true because I think that I started doing those off the clock email newsletters like 4 months before I came back from my sabbatical, and I'm like, you
Mm.
need to get in the habit of talking to your audience again, like sharing your humanity, like reestablishing the relationship.
Yeah.
before you ask them for anything. And
Yes.
I did that for 4 months before I like made a backdoor offer. And same thing with Instagram. I was like, I'm gonna show up on. I didn't show up on stories that much, but I'm showing up on my newsfeed. I'm gonna start dabbling into my stories for again like 2 or 3 months because I've been gone for. I mean, I've been gone for a minute.
Yes.
I mean, that's a long time not to like show up and say anything. And I do think that, I mean, even speaking of that, many of us, like clients is like, well, I'm selling. Why is nothing happening? I'm like, I always say like leads need lubrication. Like, I mean, I, I'm getting
I'm
PG
here
13.
for it. I'm here
I
for
mean,
it.
it's after hours at this point. If y'all on, it's after
It's
dark. Okay.
after dark, and I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Lube them up, honey.
But you gotta
Okay.
lube them up. I mean, like revenue requires some romance. Like you have to like establish the relationship and nurture that relationship and like add some foreplay before you start asking for 4-figure retainers. Like I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, but maybe can you share a little bit too of like what that's like? That's how it's looked like for me coming back from like a long gap. But I feel
Mhm.
like you've been doing it I feel like you've been like foreplaying us as you've been creating offers real time and like
Yeah.
refining offers real time. Like maybe can you speak to what your version of foreplay was while you were like actively doing it?
Yes. So my version of foreplay was so it was so funny because I was thinking I didn't call it building in public, but I guess that's what I was kind of doing. I guess that was exactly what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted more feedback. I wanted to hear how people reacted to
Mm-hmm.
certain things. Like you even remember on Threads, I was asking, there was I was like, would y'all just pay to just get some keywords every month? Like I
Yes,
was
I
just
mean
like,
yes.
do you remember
I thought
that?
that was so smart though. Like you were leveraging Threads to get client doing client research of like, okay, would y'all pay for this? Would y'all pay for this? Or like, hey y'all, I'm thinking like I'm working on my refining the promise of my program. This is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm coming up with. Like you were documenting it real time, which I
Yeah.
thought created so much excitement around what you were doing.
Yes, and it was so fun. But that's exactly what I did, right? And so I said this is where I just told my whole like my journey, right? I said this is where the membership is now, but there's so much more that I want from it. Like I refined my promise. This is exactly who it's for. Like if you want to launch your channel in 90 days, that is I needed to make curriculum specifically designed for
Mm-hmm.
that. It can't just be a video library, honey. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And people resonate. They got that, right? They understood like some memberships are are like resource libraries and they're great for that, but I knew that I wanted like a different
I mean, I,
direction.
I see a lot of clients of mine that have memberships that are like resource libraries are struggling. Like churn rates are through the roof. Like retention is very, very difficult, and a lot of them are like super burnt out because they feel like they're on this like circus wheel of I got to create something new every single month.
Right.
But I feel like
And
structure creates a lot of that safety and security that we've been talking about too.
yes. And I knew I didn't want to create anything every month. And so
Mm.
I basically had like my resource library in there and I was like, that's what y'all got. Right. But but I knew that I wanted channels to launch. Right.
Yeah.
And so I knew people could come inside this membership at that time and they could just be hanging around, coming to the strategy calls and whatever, and we just be hanging out. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and I was like, that's cool, but I want us to launch some channels. So I needed to have a very clear process in place for that to happen. Right. And so,
I'm like, what I'm hearing you say is like, what is that initial milestone that creates the momentum? And it's like
yes.
for you, if you already have a YouTube channel, or if you don't, it's like either we need to relaunch it, or you need to launch for the first time.
Yes. And so with that, and so basically what ended up happening even now is that I realized I had to really sit down with myself and understand that like Jamar, these are two different people that you are attracting, and
Mm-hmm.
there are way different ways that like there's two ways that they like kind of prefer, right? And so if someone is brand new to YouTube, they never launched a channel before, they need to go inside the membership. That they have that curriculum, but they have all the support there. I give so much support to that because like you don't even hear it from my members. Like I'm like they have so much support in there, and some of them came from my one-to-one and went into the membership, right? And now they're just like staying there, getting all the support, right? So great. But then there's people who have had their channel before and they want to revive it. They don't want to learn the frameworks. They don't want to learn that they've done all that stuff already. They need one-to-one. They need either a done for you solution or they want help like a done with you solution, right? And so that's what my one-to-ones have transitioned to, because really that's more, they need more of a customized solution, because they already have data, they already have things, they also have preconceived notions around YouTube too. So it requires more um more more help or more attention.
I mean, I think it's what I'm hearing you say, and I hope that like those listening are getting from this is like you cannot force your offer on prospects. Like, Jamar could have very much been like, well, everybody needs to go into the membership, and I'm not sure if this is what you were speaking to at the very beginning of like I had to let go of my ego. I mean, I think like creating offers because and I know if you're listening to this in my audience, if you follow Jamar, like I think we're all individuals who are very much invested in our client results. Like we deeply care. Like we're not just showing up online trying to like get quick cash and like completely. We don't want to abandon our clients.
No.
But and also hearing that it's like you have to knowing your client, also knowing what type of offer is best fit for their perceptions, their level of perceived risk, and like the specificity of the problem that they're solving. And I think that again, you said somebody's revitalizing, like they need closer proximity based off of like their past experiences. And it's like, I did this and it didn't work. You weren't telling me to go watch some modules,
Exactly.
baby.
They're like, what is another module gonna do for me?
No, what I did wasn't working. I need you to like tell me the problem. But I think that you did such a good job of like pinpointing that line of demarcation between your prospects and crafting really compelling offers, very measurable client results, very clear program promises for each of those individuals that doesn't one cause confusion between the two offers, and it doesn't like create friction from like each one is like there's a very clear bucket. There's no like line muddying the middle anymore.
No, so it took some work. It took that time, like how we talked about, of like really digging into who am I trying to serve, what kind of results am I trying to get these people, and really like fixing things so that I can actually get them those results. And that made me feel really good too, right?
Yeah.
And like it just like we just have got to really understand our client, and that's just that it's just dropping the ego. Stop trying to, if it's not working right now, investigate. Right. And that's what I went into investigating mode, not because it didn't work, but I kind of had it like good, right? Because I was kind of lucky because you know how I was transitioning from like away from the agency like mode, and I was launching these, or like really bringing these offers to the forefront, right? And so I knew that I needed more data, because in my head I was just working with people who were going to pay me money for me to do it, right? And so I needed more data around the other people in my audience now that I am not going to be selling full service YouTube management, right?
That's good. Yeah.
And so I was like kind of like, I didn't have an ego as much as like I didn't have an ego as much of like, y'all gonna get into these offers. It was more, but because I was like, what do they want? And so for me, it was like, it's okay for you to be having like a few things here and there. That is okay. You know what I'm saying? You are building, you are experimenting, you are doing market research. There are people right now who are holding on to the same dusty ass offer that no one is buying, and they are not willing to do any research because they think they are right.
You just called somebody out, and pearls have been clutched at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9, 10, 11, 12, midnight Eastern Standard Time. And yes, I still got to count because I'm like, what time is
Me
it on that side of
too.
the but I think that saying that, I mean, literally this makes me think of so many scenarios where, because we can get like the sunk lost cost of like, I spent so much time creating this thing, I don't want to just get rid of it. I think it's kind of like when you start dating and it's like, I've been with him for so long, I can't, I'd invested so much, I can't let him go. It's like, baby, he's not good for you.
He is.
I
Let
don't
him
care
cut it.
how many barbecues he done been to. I don't care how many work events he needs to get let go. And I think that, sometimes we can get so attached to the offers that we've created that it's hard to like drop it. But I love what you said. If it's not working right now, investigate. And like that, again, drop the ego. Like, your job is not to be attached to your offer that's not even selling, that's not retaining, that's not delivering. Like, your job is to solve people's problems. And it's like, if that needs to look different than how you've been doing it, let's go investigate. Like, give yourself a season to experiment.
Yes.
It
When I
doesn't be
first,
a permanent decision, but we need to go explore.
yeah, like when I first started the membership in November, and I had like my founding members come in. One of them had DM me and they said, Jamar, I manifested for this to happen. I said,
Mm.
what? I was like, really? I've never talked about a membership ever. I was always kind of like against them because
Yeah.
I was like, all this monthly content drops, I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna do this instead. Like I've always just been like, I'm not here for it because I just thought that you had to have monthly content drops, but you don't. And so because I don't. And
Period. Because I don't.
because I know I was like, I didn't need anyone. I said, y'all gonna get in here for this amount of money. Y'all gonna have these videos here. We're gonna have a group call.
But it's focused on an outcome versus just, and I think a lot of memberships go wrong in that way. And I feel like, again, right now it's like, we don't want people just buying into a membership and spinning their wheels. And it's like, okay, you have everything under the sun, but you have no idea. Going back to what we talked at the beginning of this, what information do I need right now for the problem that I'm trying to solve right now? Like, I need blinders on. I need focus. I need structure. I don't need everything under the sun, because it's not going to help. It's going to keep me busy, but it's just busy feeding your ego. It's not actually growing the business.
Exactly. And so when that client told me that she had manifested this membership, I said, okay, if this person is telling me this, because I highly believe that if one person says it, there are probably 10 other people that think it or like think
Yeah.
the same thing. And so in my head, I'm like, there are other people who are manifesting to work with me, but they just have, there's something is off.
Like, you're on people's
Something is
vision
not.
boards.
Yeah. I have so many people that is like, you on my list, you on my vision board. I said, what am I doing? How long have I been on this vision board? I was like, has it been completed yet? Like, what's happening? What we need to be meditating some more, some praying and something, okay?
Something.
Action. We need some more
You keep
action.
reprinting my photo and pasting it on here year after
I was
year.
like, baby, I'm gonna have to start charging you rent or something. What is going on? But no, but no. And so in my head, I thought, okay, this person is manifesting. So I'm like, I need to be doing some more work, right? And so I need to start listening and figuring out. And also, another lesson that happened is as I was doing those micro offers, like those intensives and stuff, I listened to the people who didn't buy from me or who chose not to buy from me, right? Because there was a person, and I would never, and this is the funniest, actually, this is a great lesson for everyone. Because this person DM'd me and said, everyone has been talking about you. I need to like work with you. How can we work together? And at that time I had this like this intensive or whatever, and she was asking for the specifics of it. And at that time, it was just like, I don't just, if no one says nothing, I'm just gonna, I said, girl, you hop on this call. We do the strategy, honey. You take your notes, girl, and like we call it a day. You know what I'm saying? You get the replay. Mm-hmm. And she was like, okay. And a few days went by. I followed up with her, and she started, and she still had questions around this offer. And I'm like, girl, how hard is this offer to understand? What is going on? You come to the call, you ask your question, but something was happening
per
there.
my last email.
But like something was happening there, and she was like, I don't really want to take notes. I don't want to take notes. Like I just don't want to do that. And that's totally her right to say that, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't think about that, because I just be like, because everyone else has just been open to this, like, I'll put things inside the chat, they copy into their little Google Doc or whatever. And so I said, oh, well, I mean, I could just put the stuff that I put inside the Zoom chat into a doc for you if that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, and so I came back to her and I said, hey, actually, thank you so much for your feedback. I've actually decided to kind of now have it come with like an action plan is what I called it, right? And she was like, oh my God, that's so great, because like honestly, I just didn't want to do X, Y, and Z. And she started giving me even more feedback on it, right? And I was like, oh my God, this is gold. That girl did not even buy that intensive.
That's always what happens.
But instead of the intensive, she bought the done for you strategy. She bought the higher package.
But that's really good. But she was giving you hints at it of like, I don't want to do the notes. Yeah.
There was something there, right? And so if I was not listening, if I just said, well, girl, if you're just not for me, then you're not for me. She felt listened to. Yeah. I did changes based upon her feedback because I really did value it, because I was like, oh, you know what? I mean, this is kind of ghetto right now because I'm just doing market research. To me, I'm over here thinking I got it made. I'm getting paid for market research. You know what I'm saying? But to her, she didn't feel like it was like like a really good exchange of know. And I was like, cool. Not only did she buy the done for you strategy that I have, after that, she is also now a member in the Low Lift Club as well.
She's bought everything at this point. But what I'm hearing you say is really, are we taking the time to like fully see our clients and our prospects and fully hear, like hold space for them to be heard? And I that literally happened recently with me with another client where she's like, thank you during the sales process. I think before, again, I think what you did was you presented an offer, you created space for feedback, you took that feedback into consideration, you represented the offer, like you worked with that client. And I know there's some situations where you do that with prospects and it's a complete waste of time. I'm like, I think that it sounds like this prospect was qualified for what it is. You knew that you could help them. You knew they were qualified for the offer, for working together. It was just figuring out what's the best offer to present this client.
Correct. Yes. 100%. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't think, if she wasn't a qualified candidate, right? I knew that I could work with her, and I knew that she would see results if I worked with her. And so I was like, it's only what is the offer that best fits her, because I knew that we could mix magic together if we were to work together.
Well, all right, Jamar, thank you for staying up past your bedtime.
Of course, this was so fun.
I know it was. I was just driving to Tesla. I'm like, let me go charge my car. Because after work, I'm like, I've been trying to do a better job of because when you work from home, at least for me, sometimes I have to take myself on a fake commute ride to like break up my work from now I'm back home. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go walk around Target. I like read my book by the sunset. I was like, I'll go charge my car. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I want to go live tonight. I
Yeah.
ain't done this in a while.
One thing about you is you will go outside. I need to actually take a page from your book, because literally I stay inside my apartment. I need to go outside. Like the only time that I leave is going to the gym or going to the grocery store. And
You have
I'm
a
like,
cute little rooftop, don't you? A little deck or something. I
oh, I
see.
do. You be doing that now. I need doing that. So I will do that. But you know, that's on my rooftop and stuff. I'm like, does
It's
that
still
count
the
as going
building.
outside?
It's still the. I mean, yeah. But I mean, I do. I think the benefit for me is I live in San Diego. I mean, like
So
it's
beautiful.
being outside is. I mean, is an activity here.
Yes.
But I've been really intentional with that because I'm like, when I think about my energy management and like managing my mood and like even my naturopath doctor's like, yeah, you need more sunlight. I was like, okay. So I be making like little missions for myself. I'm like, what kind of, grocery shopping? I'm gonna go walk around Target and return an item. I'm gonna, go get me a cookie from Insomnia. Like, I don't know. I
Yes.
just like, like
I love it.
it's petty, but like it's helpful because otherwise I'll be inside all day.
Oh, I love that though. I'm gonna start doing some stuff like that, making little activities for myself.
Yeah, I go to the library. I don't buy books anymore. I go to the library.
True.
That's
I
my
got one
activity.
right down the street from me too.
Quit playing. I walk to mine. Walk to your library instead of and it's so much joy. I feel like I make money every time I go to the library. I'm like, you know how much money I saved by not buying these books? I mean, it's
That's
been a nice time.
true. That's so true. Look,
Yeah.
not you getting me outside.
Knowing your personality, I would think you be outside. I'm like, you seem like somebody who goes to brunch.
Look, no, not look. Post pandemic, Jamar has been on the inside. Okay, I used to love a brunch, which I need to just bring that part of me back out, because
Yeah.
I used to be outside. I used to be out,
I think
girl.
there's a balance. I'll take myself on like I do solo dates. Like
Oh yes,
and that's been helping me a lot though. But I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate everybody listening this late at night. I'm like, I
yes,
cannot believe. I was
yes.
like, ain't
Thank
nobody
you.
gonna be up.
Yes, thank y'all so much for like listening to us talk. Thank you so much for even inviting me on. I didn't even think that this would happen. I just said hi, and I was ready for you to drop some more words, honey. You
Well,
know what I'm
I didn't know
saying?
it was gonna happen either. Thank you for answering the call. I'm like, shoot, Jamar, you want to come on and talk to the people? Because
Yes,
I think that that's a better way to give an example than like I mean I've just been witnessing you do it, and I just think it's like really dope. And I'm like, there's more than one approach. I hope that everybody listening was like, there's more than one approach to solve these issues, and I hope that we were able to present like multiple like options and trade-offs and to help you make a more informed decision for yourself. So.
yes.
And Jamar, I just adore you. I'm like, I
I
want to come.
used to.
You're in Virginia.
I am in Virginia.
I'm like, I'm trying to pull up because I'm like, I
Girl,
like Virginia, and I
say
think we have a good
less.
time.
Virginia likes you too. Okay, come on.
Hold on, Angie, are you in? Is Angie in Virginia too?
Oh, is Angie up here? Hold on.
I
I
see
can't
Angie said
even
we need
see.
to go to lunch.
Oh
Angie,
yeah, Angie
okay,
Justine.
listen.
Yes.
I need to make me a little. I like Virginia. Virginia is a
Yes.
vibe.
Oh my gosh, yes. You will love it here. It's so nice.
Okay,
Come
I'll let y'all
visit.
know. I might make me a little tour. Let's go to Virginia and do a little gathering. Go to brunch and go to
Come
the library or something.
come on.
Don't y'all
Yes.
be having like? Don't y'all got a pond or a lake or something?
We have Virginia Beach, ma'am.
Virginia
We
Beach,
have a whole
but
beach.
there's
We have multiple.
bodies of water. I feel like my friend lived there, and she lived by this little like body of water. We would walk around, and there would be little ducks, and there. You got
Oh
plenty
yes.
to do
So we
outside.
have like a little, yeah, inside Norfolk where I live, we have like a little, like, we have so much water here. Okay, Norfolk is going to drown one day. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Well, get outside and go for a walk by the water now.
okay. I will. I will.
And your cute little shorts. Have you seen them like thighs? I see you.
The thighs be out. Okay, they be out.
But just thanks for hanging. This was like really. I'm like, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was fun. So just thanks for hopping on so late at night with me. This was a good old time.
Of course, boo. Look, I'm gonna go ahead to bed now. But look, this is giving. I just booked now. Before I leave, I'm thinking this is giving maybe we need to have another J&J hour. You know what I'm
Oh, I'm
saying? One
down.
day. This will be so
I'm like,
fun.
the people we can let's brainstorm another or it could happen at random. It's like,
For real. For real. Just know it's happening, y'all. It's going to happen again. Okay.
Angie said she's in the bed with the bonnet on, baby. Who else got their bonnet on right now?
Girl, I'm about to go put on my bonnet too. Y'all know, y'all, look, I'm here for that. Bonnet squad up. Okay.
I know. I'm like,
Okay.
it's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna get myself on home. Go
Yes.
put my bonnet on.
Ye-
Okay.
yes, I'm going to bed, sweetheart. I will talk to you later.
All right, y'all. Have a good night. If you don't follow Jamar already, please do. Like and follow him on Threads. Like he has a whole vibe. You are such a
I am
vibe on Threads.
so unhinged on Threads. I give marketing advice. I be snatching wigs. And I also just talk about random shit too.
That's the
But
fun stuff, though.
it's the fun stuff. Like, do you remember when I did that voice thread of like some guy had hit on me in the gym and
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do?
Yeah. I'm like, do we get an update? Where is he now? Has he
Girl,
been back?
I don't know where he at. All I know is I just ran away.
Have you been back to the gym?
I have been back, but I haven't been back to the locker room.
Jamar,
I know.
I know you're working on your, you're like, I'm being open to new clients and being open to better offers. Maybe we can be open to new romance in your personal life. Who knows?
Look, maybe we'll see what happens. That could be its own show, okay?
Oh, well, just thanks y'all for hanging out. This was like a grand old time. So,
Bye.
bye, y'all. Have a good night.
Good night.